anybody hear me now?
There you are.
Ah! So was I just like miming this whole time? You guys are probably all like, what's he talking about? Sorry about that, everybody out there in the webinar world or in Google Hangout world. You're probably like, this guy's an idiot. So anyways, well, I'm going to restart that whole intro. Hi, I'm Todd. I'm here at Spiceworks HQ in beautiful Austin, Texas. And today we're talking all about content here at our Unplugged online. So real fast, for those of you guys who are watching here today, what the heck is an Unplugged and what is Spiceworks? Well, Spiceworks is where millions of IT pros come to get their work done. Also, thousands of tech vendors are in that community where they get to connect with those IT pros on a human, authentic level. And so today, this is an Unplugged online where Unplugged is our road show, where we travel across the country and even overseas, and we talk to marketers just like you who are watching us today, and we bring about 4 IT pros with us from that area. So when we go to California here in a little bit, we're going to have 4 local IT pros come with us, and they're going to sit on a couple bar stools in a comfy, casual bar, and you are going to be in the audience, hopefully, if you join us. And so as a tech marketer, you get to ask them as many questions as you want, and the IT pros get to give you straight talk and honest feedback. And that really helps you as a tech marketer because you can help shape your marketing message that way because you're getting honest feedback from these IT buyers out there. So again, today we are talking all about content in our Unplugged online. And again, like Unplugged, we've got some IT pros here to join us, so I really want to get to them quickly here. So first joining us from Denver, Colorado is Patrick Yeager. Patrick, how you doing, buddy?
All right, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you so much. Now Patrick, actually, funny story, he just traveled last night to his location today for an IT problem, so that's why you're seeing him really in his environment, in a small cubicle at an office. So he is working on the job today, as is our next IT pro, who is Lauren Fitzpatrick. Hello, Lauren, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm good.
Cool. So Lauren is a sysadmin, and she's from New Hampshire, so thanks so much for coming and representing the woman power of the IT world. So we're excited to have you here. And then finally, we've got one of our spiciest spice heads, and by the way, spice heads is the nickname that the IT pros gave themselves who are inside of the Spiceworks community. So we affectionately refer to them as spice heads. So one of our spiciest spice heads is CJ Wood, and he's joining us today, and what makes him super spicy is that he's one of our Spicy Award winners. So that means that he has been the model IT pro when it comes to all things IT, and we at Spiceworks want to recognize that. So he is a very, very spicy guy, and he's got a lot of feedback and helpful tips for you marketers out there to learn from. So hello, CJ. How are you doing, buddy?
Hello. I'll try to live up to that description.
You better.
Wow.
You better, buddy. Nah, you're going to be great. And so also joining us, we've got a couple of internal Spiceworks guys here with us. So the first one is our IT Pro Content Guru, and that's Peter Tsai. Hello, Peter.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah. So Peter obsesses about IT content every single day. And so the examples we're going to show you today, Peter created and produced. And so he's going to give you some insight on what he knows works for IT pros. Fun fact about Peter is he used to be an IT pro as well, so he knows a lot about this area, and so he's come to the dark side of marketing to help us out, but he does his own thing, and he's great at it. So good to have him here with us. And the next important person I want to bring up is Scott Douglas from our Client Services team. Hello, Scott. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing? Great to be here.
Great, man. Great, thanks. So Scott is part of our Client Success team. And on that team is basically when you join us at Spiceworks, he takes care of you from top to bottom. So he's going to help you craft content campaigns like you're going to see today. He's also going to be kind of holding your hand to make sure that you have a successful campaign. So Scott's going to bring some great insights of what he has seen other clients do, so give you guys some inspiring ideas, also just some ideas when it comes to how you can make your campaign better and perform better as well. So let's get right into it here with our topic today. But first, CJ, I want to pop over to you. Can you give the tech marketers out there a little bit insight into your IT day? What happens first thing in the morning to when you get to work and all that?
Well, besides stopping and getting my cup of coffee, it's just as soon as I walk in the door, it's just whatever happens between me and my cubicle. Like, hey, while you're here, or hey, I've been looking for you. And it's a very busy environment, small environment, but it's a small, medium business. So I deal with everything from your typical computer hardware technician to even simple help desk to also doing large server migrations. So I'm just kind of the one man for everything IT.
And so when you walked in this morning, how many tickets did you already have in your queue?
Several. I don't know the exact number, but quite a few.
And how many projects are you normally working on each day besides solving problem users like me?
Oh, especially this time of year, a lot. I'm doing a lot of new web developing projects. I got some network projects. I'm doing a big voice over IP migration from the old phone system to the new phones. So I got a lot on my plate right now.
And so how often are you sitting at your desk? I mean, are you mostly walking up and down trying to put out fires as they come?
Yeah, I'm everywhere at the same time. If I could be Santa Claus, that would be great.
And so just to give some context to the viewers who are watching, CJ is actually upstairs in an attic to get the best Wi-Fi reception. So being a great IT pro, that's what he's doing for us today. So don't be put off by the background. Yeah, see, there you go. A lot of cabinets and everything around him. So I want to pop over to Lauren here. So Lauren, you have a very busy IT day, as I'm sure like CJ has told us. How much time do you spend or get to spend to research new products? Like, for example, if one of our clients sent out, let's say Unitrends, sent out, a new product, how much time do you get to even research because you're busy?
About 10 minutes every 5 minutes. So pretty much, part of my job is to do the research. I'm the level 2 sysadmin here, so that is a big part of my role. But being new and people getting used to me, they're constantly stopping by my desk. So it's, I get about 10 minutes of good research time in before I have somebody tapping on my shoulder looking for help. So it's very mixed up throughout the day.
And in that 10 minutes, how many pieces of content are you able to digest? Or what pieces of content are you most likely to digest in that 10-minute span of free time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the stuff preparing even for today, trying to look at it, I probably could get through a page every 10 to 15 minutes before somebody was knocking on my door. So I don't get a lot of time to really sit and digest it with how busy it is. We're supporting over 400 people here and traveling nurses, so it's quite busy.
Wow. Okay. And so you're in the healthcare field, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're going to go back to Lauren here a little bit because I want to press on or just ask the question a little bit further on what her favorite piece of content is, because if she's so busy, like most of them seem to be, what content really resonates with her. So we will definitely get to that. And so Lauren, I kind of want to ask this next question to you is, as you're researching all of this, are you the key decision maker? So when you get that, white paper in there and you're like, yeah, I want to buy that product, are you the one who signs the dotted line, or is there someone above you who signs that dotted line?
No, I am not. I'm probably the primary influencer, but I'm definitely not the signer. I have a manager that I report to that is in control of our budget, and then he even has to get sign-off from our CFO. So he's not even the final person. He's just one step closer. Okay.
And so, Patrick, I want to pose the same question to you here. When you hear from, a client or, a tech vendor and asking to purchase this product, you're like, yeah, I like this product, I want to buy it. Are you in the similar boat where you're not the final, the signing the dotted line, but you're a major influence on that purchase?
It depends on the cost of the project. So I have a budget that I'm allowed to sign for, and anything above that goes above me. But influencer, so it just depends on what we're looking at.
And so when you give the CIO or the CFO or whoever it is, who is that person, by the way? Is it your CFO who signs off, or is it a manager above you?
The director of IT.
The director. So when you go to your director of IT, do you go with him and say, here's what I want, and he just says, got it, I'll sign it, I trust you in your decision? Or does he do his own research when he goes through this?
He's not super techie, so he relies on the staff to
yeah. So the content that you get, really, you're the one who really needs that information to accurately tell the director, hey, this is what you want, this is what we need based on what I know. And so the content that is created for you needs to make sure it gives you all the tech specs, all the amount of money, and just making sure it fits your problem. Is that right?
Absolutely, because we're the ones that are going to be using it, so we just have to go and sign the check.
Cool. So I want to pop over to Peter Tsai, and Peter, again, is our IT content guru here. So Peter, when it comes to creating content, what are the 3 key things that tech marketers should keep in mind when they create any content for an IT pro?
Sure. So we've been hearing our IT pros talk a lot about how they're busy and they really want to get something out of the content quickly because they don't have a lot of time to read it. So my best tip for marketers is to really put yourself in the shoes of an IT pro and look at it from their perspective. how are you adding value to their day by producing this piece of content? I know a lot of marketers have the goal of selling a product or letting people know about a product they have for sale, but really, what do the IT pros want? They want to find the information that they want as fast as they can. Maybe they want a break from their busy day and have a laugh. So the three things I like to tell people is your content educating IT pros? Is it entertaining them, or is it informing them? If you're not accomplishing one of those goals, they're probably not going to get too much out of it. And as a bonus, maybe you can do something fun. You can inspire them to do something, or you can surprise them just to make it more shareable. But you want to kind of line up your goals as a marketer to let people know about your product, and your goals to informing, entertaining, or inspiring IT pros, and seeing where that content can line up with those two goals. And there's a happy medium there somewhere so that you produce interesting and engaging content.
Okay, so I want to now go ahead and show a piece of engaging content that you produced, Peter, and I kind of want you to walk through us kind of back to the entertain and all that stuff, how that is all packaged in here, and why this piece works. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with a couple of y'all on this. So let me make sure it all pops up. If it doesn't pop up correctly, let me know. Is it popping up right? Cool. So walk us through this one. It's called IT Issues, 17 Problems All Sysadmins Will Understand. I believe it's a blog post.
Yeah, so we had a campaign called Sysmas, which was revolving around Sysadmin Day, which is the last Friday in July, which is dedicated to celebrating IT pros. And our main goal with this piece, the Spiceworks goal, was to get people to come and be aware of Sysmas, this holiday that we created, where a lot of great content lives and a lot of advertisers, they spend money with Spiceworks, so we want as many IT pros to see this as possible. So I was saying, literally put yourself in the shoes of IT pros. So for this piece of content, that's what we did. We talked about 17 things that all sysadmins would understand. For example, you go to work to fix IT problems, then you go home and you have to fix your family's IT problems. And that one's you're not a janitor, but you're constantly cleaning up after users' messes. Yeah. Just fun things like that all IT pros can relate to, and they want to know that people feel their pain, that sort of thing. And then all of these bullets are just really there to entertain people, but towards the end, the last bullet point is not really anyone knows about Sysadmin Day. So we plugged our Sysmas holiday that we want everyone to know about and click on and read about. And then you can really see from the comments that a lot of IT pros were engaging with it. We got over 400 comments, we got tens of thousands of people reading the article, and we just got lots of funny comments from IT pros saying that they finally feel understood as a person, and that all of these are true, or all of these are so accurate. So we really wanted, for this piece, since it was a little bit more fun, to kind of make ourselves show that we appreciate IT pros, and that was the main goal there.
So can I ask on that piece of content, because as a tech marketer looking at that, I'm like, wow, how long did that take to produce? Was it a month thing, or was it literally a week or two that you produced that whole, all the creative and all that thought process?
I think I wrote the list in about 20 minutes because I've been in IT and I've experienced all those things. But then we worked with some designers to draw up some of the images there. So it was just two people working on it. We had a designer draw up all the images, and then I just wrote a blog post. And then we worked with our teams. We sent out notification of the blog post through newsletters, so there's some coordination there. Okay. And we worked on the website. But, I mean, it was about 3 people, probably only 10 hours of work total.
So I'm going to pop over to Lauren real fast. Lauren, I'm going to bring the example back up here, but can you go ahead and tell and explain in your, from your standpoint, why this works from the IT pro side, why this struck a chord and it did so well?
Right. Well, I think you kind of hit it right on the head when you were talking about, or actually it was Peter who was mentioning, there's got to be some time in there to entertain, and I think for whatever reason, IT pros seem to all have a pretty similar sense of humor, and this is very relatable too. So it's kind of a combination of the humor and very relatable, and it's that break to say, yep, this is my world, and we can all kind of join in together and agree that, yep, this is what we do and this is what we deal with. And so, yeah, it just struck a chord, I think, for everybody.
Got it. Okay, so thanks for both of those. So now that we've seen one of a Spiceworks' own creation, what I want to go ahead and do is get to those tech marketers who submitted their own pieces of content for review. So yes, we asked for submissions, and we got a lot of them. We apologize for those who we may not get to today, but hopefully you're going to learn from the ones we are going to look at. And so today, the first piece of content we're going to look at is an infographic. And so let me pull this up here for you. Let me grab it, maybe. Ta-da. So, whoa. Gotta love it. I need an IT pro. My computer is frozen right now. We're going to be good, though. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Okay, so the infographic, as it slowly pulls up here, is from CCB. And so this infographic, Scott, I want to pop over to you as I pull this up. From your standpoint, when it comes to...
Not even kidding. Fire alarm.
Okay, well, go ahead, Lauren. Get out. We'll see you in just a bit.
I'll be back.
Okay. Oh, only on live. So, Scott...
Wow.
Oh, geez. Scott, let's go to you on this as I pull it up here. But first, tell us about infographics when it comes to IT pros. When you see clients do infographics, what do you usually tell them to keep aware of or stay in tuned with? Are you there, Scott?
No, I'll try to talk over this beeping.
Yeah, I think we can mute her in a sec. Yeah, we got her muted. So go ahead. Yeah, so tell us about the infographic and what they need to keep in mind when they create one.
Yeah, there's a couple things when you think about when you ever introduce an infographic to part of a campaign. And with the thousands of campaigns coming through our team, one of the things we always want to make sure that we keep aware of what is the goal? What are they trying to get out of it? Beyond just educating, informing, and entertaining, kind of what Peter talked about, we want to make sure that we're giving the IT pro a call to action. So that's one of my main things. So when I look at this CCB infographic,
I'm going to pull it up right now here for everybody here. So here it comes. So let's go ahead and take a quick peek at this one. Again, thanks so much to CCB for submitting this. So here's the infographic. And so Scott, what do you think here?
Yeah, so one of the great things I like, and like I was saying earlier, is when you start to analyze any campaign, you always want to remind yourself what is the goal. So when I look here, I think one of the main goals that CCB try to inform our IT pros is more of a branding and awareness play. A lot of times our campaigns and our marketers try to use one of our banner products, which is great. This really goes beyond the banner, kind of separates themselves from the clutter. So I think that's an awesome way to reach an IT pro in a manner they're not usually used to, and really catch them off guard when it comes to educating IT pros about their brand.
And so, Peter, would you say that this, and I guess actually, Scott, I want to say, so this is really a top to mid funnel piece of content, is that right?
Yes, I would agree. And I say that because this is probably the first stage an IT pro has with connecting with this brand.
Okay. So let's go ahead and pop over to Patrick here, since his fire alarm hasn't gone off yet. Patrick, tell us what you think of this piece of content.
I like it. I like the flowcharts. I mean, I agree. It's definitely like it's just to get you interested in their product. Like, hey, look at me. It's a little much. I mean, there's a lot of it there. The comments are funny. It's witty. But in the brief amount of time I have to peruse it, I only read 3 or 4 of them. I'm like, all right, I get the point. So shorter the better for me.
Okay. And CJ, I want to pop over to you on this infographic. What I do see is that it was gated, so there was a form to fill. From your standpoint as an IT pro, what do you think about gated content like this, and when will you fill out a piece of gated content?
I would say for gated content that for me to fill out my information and getting something like this in return, I'd be really upset. Like, if I'm giving you my contact information, I want something that's going to be really useful and interesting, not just something that's going to give me a general brand awareness. It touches on like, hey, we sell Lenovo and HP and Dell. I mean, so does Best Buy, as long as a lot of big electronic stores. But tell me something I don't know. Tell me something that's interesting. It's really going to help me and drive me to giving you my contact information. Because as an IT pro, when I do that, I know when to get a sales call. But I want to get a sales call from something that I believe in or something that I'm at least interested in beforehand.
Yeah. Will you ever fill out a gated form that asks for a phone number? Well, let's say this was a great piece of content that you were willing to fill out. Will you give them a phone number at that initial stage of that? or is that a
Yeah,
deal breaker?
if it's interesting, if it's something that I'm interested in for my network, something I want to purchase from, or at least I want to learn more, absolutely, I want to do anything. I'll give you my email, and I'll give you my phone number, anything you need to get in contact with me. But if it's just going to be filling it out just to kind of get like an infographic like this, I wouldn't do it in that case.
Right. So Scott, back to you again. Scott is from our client success team, and he's part of a team that helps those clients who come work with Spiceworks, top to bottom, get their campaigns running. Scott, from your perspective, again, I believe this was a piece of gated content here. What's your thought on when or if marketers should gate their content?
Yeah, so I think really what CJ was getting at was, does the ask match the information that they're giving? So for this particular case, if they had to decide to gate it, and one thing whenever marketers come to us and asking if they should, always want to make sure that they have a plan. What are they going to do with these leads or the contact information once we give it to them? They're going to put them into a nurture campaign that allows Patrick and CJ to follow up on their own time. Then that's one route. But giving an information such as a phone number may be a little bit too invasive for the first contact point, especially something like CJ mentioned that is not too informative.
Okay, and Scott, and actually, maybe this is actually more for Patrick. Patrick, how many forms, how many blanks will you fill out? Like, let's say in the form field there's 3 blanks to fill out. Will you fill that out? What if there was 10 spaces in there? Even if you wanted that content, would you still fill it out, or would you forget this, I'm not doing it?
It depends on where I'm at. If it's the beginning of the discovery phase, then the less I'm going to fill out. The further I get along and the more I've narrowed my product search, then the more I'm going to be willing to fill out, because I know they're going to contact me with the more information I give. Yeah. So if I'm very interested, I'll fill out more. But if I'm just starting, then you get my name and my email address. That's it.
And I think one rule of thumb for the tech marketers watching that we've learned here is we live by the rule of no more than 7 fields, and even 7 feels like a lot. But after you go past 7 fields, your conversion of getting an IT pro to get that piece of content goes down by 10%. And so that was the last stat that I had. And so that's a good tip that I always remember, even when I do IT pro stuff, because I'm just like you. I'm a demand gen marketer, and I'm trying to get IT pros to do this, this, or this. So I feel your pain there. So let's keep those forms to a pretty limited, less than 7 kind of deal, and take what Patrick and CJ have said about that. And I think Lauren is back with us. All right, let me unmute you here, Lauren, so we don't hear that awful little fire alarm there. Give me 1 sec to pop that off of you. Let's see here. I think Catherine, you muted her. So, oh, you're frozen. Maybe not. I'm frozen. Lauren's frozen. Okay, we're going to get that unmuted, so just give us 1 second. We're going to go ahead and go on to the next piece of content here as we get her unmuted. Let's go ahead and go to Peter again. Peter, this one I want to talk about is the quiz, and it's kind of like interactive content here. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And here it comes, Peter. So this is the quiz of how strong is your network marketing. So tell us about this one, Peter.
It's how strong is your network monitoring magic, actually.
Oh, sorry, I just missed the bottom there.
Network marketing's for marketers. This is for IT pros. Spiceworks has an app called Network Monitor, which incidentally allows you to monitor servers and switches and other systems on your network in real time. So to promote it, we created a fun quiz that kind of mashed up 2 things that IT pros really love. One is Lord of the Rings, and the other is IT. Obviously, they work in IT. So we asked a lot of technical questions, which are kind of dry, but we put a lot of inside jokes in there and a lot of imagery around Lord of the Rings, and we graded people because we found that people love testing their knowledge, because I'm a nerd. I like to prove myself and to show people that I'm smart too. So we put a lot of fun questions around network monitoring, and it's not really in your face. It's more of test your own knowledge. But throughout the quiz, we just made references to Spiceworks Network Monitor where applicable. And at the end, we had a call to action. Once you figure out how strong your magic is, you can find out if you're Gollum, if you missed all the questions, or you're Gandalf if you got like 85%, or you're the all-seeing eye of Sauron and you have the strongest magic in the land, right, if you get all of them right. So people, when you tell them they're awesome and they want to show other IT pros that they have this knowledge, they're more apt to share because it is kind of surprising and fun, they want to show other people. So the results of this quiz were that thousands of people took it, hundreds of people actually did follow the call to action, and we actually did get a lot of people to download the app and install it and use it. So it's just another example of how you can use different types of content, and not all content has to be just about you, the company, to accomplish your goals. But if you make it interesting and spice it up a little, you'll have a lot more organic interest, and you'll actually see those results too.
Okay, cool. And so, Peter, what I'm going to do here too is I think we may have dropped a little bit for some viewers out there. So I'm going to re-show this piece of content so everybody can see that. And so let me pop this back up here. Again, you got to love live stuff here, folks. But we're making our way. It's going to be great. So this is the wizard that he was talking about in the interactive media. And so, Scott, I want to pop over to you as I have this example up. When it comes to interactive media, what's your kind of guidelines for tech marketers as they do that piece of content?
Yeah, just make sure that kind of the things that we were talking about earlier, making it fun and making it time-consuming. But the other thing that's going to be really important is making it, being able to make it bite-sized, make it snackable. Because IT pros have such little time, you want to make sure that if they only complete some of it, it's still an opportunity for them to share that piece of content for other IT pros.
Okay, great. And let's go ahead and go over to CJ on this one. CJ, why does this work? Why did this piece of content work?
Just like what Scott said, it wasn't bite-sized pieces. And what Spiceworks does so well is that they make that connection to us. They make it fun. And again, they bring it at our level where we just enjoy things because we connect to it. Like you said, Lord of the Rings. So, you know, the overall connection just made it interactive for me and just enticed me to fill it out and see what it was all about.
Cool. And so what I want to go ahead and do now is go ahead and go back to a submitted piece of content. This one comes from CyberSeer, and CyberSeer is one of our partners over in the UK. So we've got some across the pond content here to show our American IT pros. But again, those who are watching from CyberSeer, take what they are going to say, because we see a lot of overlap with how the IT pros in America consume their content just like the IT pros in the UK do, because again, they're both in the same industry and same field. So when we show this piece of content, you know, we're going to have Lauren actually talk about it first here. So let me go ahead and pull this up and give me, let's go ahead and grab this piece of content. And can you see that one over there? Are you seeing that piece of content? Maybe not. Let's pull this up. Oh, I got to press share. It's my fault. All right, so here is that piece of content. So Lauren, let's walk through this one. This is a white paper from CyberSeer.
Yep.
So what do you think, Lauren? What do you like? What do you don't like about this piece of content here?
Well, in all honesty, and it probably flows into what I said earlier, white papers are not my favorite in general. If I am going to be looking for something very specific, I might go for a white paper if I'm really digging and I've kind of exhausted all the other types of content that are out there. So any kind of white paper, this aside, is more or less my last resort. In particular, oh, sorry.
So how can they make this better? What could be in this white paper to make it a little more punchy, to make it your favorite piece of content?
Honestly, it needs to be short, sweet, and to the point. So we've got 7 pages here, and I noticed that I didn't really even know what CyberSeer was doing until page 6. Now, in my world, as I said, I would never even get to page 6. By the time I got to that point, you know, I would be lost in other things. So they already lost me there. It needs to be relevant. It needs to have useful information that's going to help my day, and it's got to be to the point where I can glance at it, I can gather that information, and if I find that particular piece useful, I can then dig in deeper from there. So nice big, you know, topic points throughout it that are clear to determine what's what and where I can start digging deeper depending on what I need. That makes sense.
Let's go ahead and pop over to Patrick. Patrick, what do you think about the cover art on this? Is there a way we can spice that up, or any ideas of how to spice that up a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's okay. It's a white paper. It's not going to be flashy and woo. I mean, for me, a white paper is where I'm at the end and I'm trying to make a decision. You know, they're wordy, they're long, they're boring, but it's a white paper. This one wasn't. I agree with Lauren. You know, it took a couple pages in before I realized what the message they're trying to push is. So Yeah.
So see, I'm glad you corrected me, because I felt that this piece of content was almost a top of the funnel to get some awareness over the industry itself, and then give the product pitch. But you feel that the white papers in this is this is when I'm ready to buy, when you get a white paper.
That's the only time I'm going to read a white paper, is when I've got 2 or 3 to and I got to make a decision, so I read the white paper and I expect it to be a little technical. And a long read and kind of boring, but
right.
If I haven't made my mind up by the time I get to the white paper, there's a reason I need to read the white paper.
So Scott from our client success team here, on white papers, when would you recommend that marketers? You've seen hundreds of of these things through your career. So when do marketers use a white paper? When is it the best time for IT pros, in your opinion? Can you hear Scott? Oh, Scott, we can't hear you, buddy. I thought it was just me. Can't hear you. Nope. But it's okay. We were just batting 1,000 today on this live show. I love it. It's always good. No, can't hear you now, buddy. But hey, let's go over to Peter. Peter, I'm going to pop over to you as Scott tries to do some quick adjustment there. When it comes to these white papers, when is the best time for these tech marketers that you, in your experience, to give these out? Is it like what Patrick said, as far as this is the end of the funnel kind of deal?
Yeah, I think it's towards the bottom of the funnel. The 2 examples I showed you were kind of top of the funnel, where they can apply to any IT pro, and anybody would be interested in it. But when you get really specific about a certain product and about a certain brand, then you're automatically going to narrow your funnel quite a bit.
Okay.
And especially if it's gated, then not that many people are going to come to it anyways. So I think white paper is definitely a bottom of the funnel piece of content.
Okay. CJ, I want to pop over to you. What is your favorite piece of content that, let's go through the stage of the funnel. For awareness and education, what would you like a marketer to give you? Is it an infographic like CCB is going to give you, or is it a video? What is that first top of the funnel for you, that content that's going to be like, yep, I'm going to do my research and awareness through that?
I guess the top of the funnel will either be an ad in itself, like if it's a Google ad inside of a website, just an initial thing that's like, oh, okay, that's interesting, I want to follow that. The deeper I go, the more content I want. That's the more wordy you can get with your materials, like with the white paper. Or another thing too would be like an email campaign. So if I got an email, and within the email itself, it sells me enough that within the email, then I can click and download a white paper. But that's not something that I'll...
Okay. All right. I think CJ is frozen on my screen. Scott, are you there, buddy?
How's that?
There we go. One thing works so far. It's Murphy's Law. Anytime this happens, it just all goes. We had a fire drill today. We had muted microphones at the start. This is a great show so far. So, Scott, let's go back to you, buddy, on the question of the white papers. When do you think is the best time for these white papers? And then let's go back to the question I had, too, of the right content for each stage of the funnel, or the buyer's journey. We'll go with that word.
Yeah, whenever clients come out, reach out to us and making sure that we want to promote their white papers, they always want to accompany a lead form. That kind of goes back to the beginning of our conversation at when is the right time to reach out to these IT pros and get that all valuable information to contact them. That's when we kind of introduce that this white paper would be best towards the end of that sales cycle, making sure that the buyer journey really comes to conclusion with that final piece of information that an IT pros to help make that decision.
Yeah, Scott, can I ask you too? How can CyberSeer maximize this piece of content? Because I think it's sometimes we get lost. Like, here's this piece of content, go and take it. We're over with it. But in your opinion, how can they maximize this? What more can they do with this content? Because this is good stuff, especially hearing from Patrick. This is at the bottom of his buyer's journey, so he's more likely to buy at this point.
Yeah. So let's make that to the top of this funnel. How do we do that? I think making sure that we can repurpose the same piece of content multiple times allows us to expand our reach, because now you're hitting IT pros at different stages and at through different channels. So kind of like what CJ was saying, there's some times where he's going to look at a banner ad to make sure that he gets his first touch of that brand, and then it kind of goes to the vendor page or social network to get a little bit more about the brand, and then it's that email nurturing message that he gets to read more about. So if you take that one piece of content and you can repurpose it to many different types of content, not only does a marketer get more for their money, but you're also reaching IT pros at different stages.
And so for the infographic as well, you know, we saying this was kind of the top of the buyer's journey about education. And I'm correcting myself by saying funnel here, folks, because we don't want to look at IT pros like leads. They're human beings. If you do have to use them as the word lead, let's handle them with care here, because they are people, they are real, you know, IT pros who have the budget power. So when it comes to this, the infographic, what ideas could they do to really maximize this piece? Because it is more of at the start of that buyer's journey.
Yeah. The number one thing that marketers ask us to do when they give us a piece of content like that is they want engagement with the IT pros. Obviously, Patrick was mentioning his lack of time sometimes, and when he looks at that piece of content, it could be overwhelming. But when you look at an engagement portion of interacting with that piece of content, you really want to make sure that they have an opportunity to answer questions or provide feedback. A lot of times we introduce maybe a contest that allows them to answer questions to make sure that we understand the piece of content and what's relevant to the IT pro is consistent to what the marketing person's giving.
Yeah, and so Scott, I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I apologize for doing this, but at the top of your head, do you know of any like great campaign that you're like, it was really well done, you know? Because I want to be able to inspire some marketers out here to say, even if you're like, because both of these companies, one of them was a larger, you know, end-to-end solution, and one of them is a smaller one. So, you know, from your perspective, is there a company out there that did a campaign recently that was like, yeah, that's great, that's an inspiring, motivating thing for me as a marketer. I'm going to go do that.
Yeah, one thing that top of mind for me is Micron. They do a lot of content with us, but the way that they introduce their content to IT pros isn't very pushy. What we did is actually create a wizard, which is almost like a buying guide, if you will, which really speaks and adds that personal touch to an IT pro and understanding what their environment entails, and allows them to select the right product for the IT pro for that situation. So that's a way that we're informing the IT pro, we're educating them about the products that Micron offers, but we're also making it personal, because whatever suggestion that we're giving to the IT pro is based on the feedback that they give.
Cool. And so for those guys watching out there, if you go to Spiceworks.com and join the community and you just search Micron, you can see that Micron is in there, and kind of just take a peek at what they're doing for marketing campaigns. All of us marketers know the secret that sometimes we copy others, and it's the most sincerest form of flattery. So take a look, take a peek in the community, and see what you got there from Micron. So as our time wraps up here, I want to go to our IT pros again and really quickly ask, what is your favorite piece of content and that you just think, keep doing that all day, marketers, because this is great. Let's go to Lauren here, since she's not a big fan of white papers. So what is your favorite piece of content, Lauren?
Honestly, I would say it's almost my first stop. My first stop is a website, and I think one of the things that makes me the most excited is either detailed screenshots of the product, so I can kind of get a look to how the UI is, as well as, in the rare case, finding somebody who has an online demo, like an interactive demo of the environment. Those are awesome. Now, I know that's not going to necessarily fit in all situations,
okay.
But if that doesn't fit, it really comes down to the website and just clear, detailed, answering my questions.
Price on the website a big deal for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Gotta have price there. Okay.
Gotta have price.
CJ, buddy, what's your favorite piece of content? What do you want marketers to do more of when it comes to that?
Just be a little less pushy, a little less salesy, and just connect. Like what Scott had said, Micron is doing just an excellent job by doing that. Same with Redroot. They just have a great presence in the community, but I'm very well aware of the product, and I use it at home, and I love the product, but they do such a great job of getting that point across and educating us on it without being pushy at the same time. But also piggyback on what Lauren was saying about websites, I love seeing that features page. But I love seeing a features page that actually describes the features, and like she said, with detailed screenshots, very informative material, because that's what's interesting to me and it's what sells the product.
All right, Patrick, we're going to wrap it up with you, buddy. Favorite piece of content that you're just like, keep on going?
Yeah, it'd have to be the website. I mean, with screenshots, I want to know exactly what I'm getting. I want to see it right away, and then, short, sweet, to the point. I get to see it, and then that lets me go from there. Cool.
Okay, so as we wrap up, I think looks like the dynamic duo of Peter and Scott are now together in the same room, so that's great. I want to go to both of you guys as we wrap up here. That's at the hour mark. The key takeaway that the marketers should remember when it comes to creating content great, ridiculously awesome content for marketers. Peter, let's start with you as our IT content guru.
Sure. I think my #1 tip is you really have to understand your audience and what their needs are, what kind of content are they interested in, and you just need to run your content by someone who's an IT pro. You don't want to just be talking about yourself without giving anything back to IT pros. So just double check it. Make friends with an IT pro. Just sanity check all your content before you put it out there. You don't want to put something out there that kind of makes your brand look out of touch. So just get to know an IT pro, understand them, and empathize, and know what it's like to be in their shoes.
Okay, Scott, last final thought there for marketers. What do you want to tell them?
Yeah, do not forget the call to action. You always want to make sure that the IT pros know what the next steps to take. And no matter what stage of the funnel is, you want to make sure you guide them through that process. So let them know what it is and make sure it's compelling, and you don't want to leave them confused.
Okay, great. So a big thank you to everybody showing up here today, and thank you to the IT pros and to Scott and Peter there. Again, you got to love live Google Hangouts. This is why we do it. This is why at Spiceworks always have fun. It's always authentic and real. And that's my takeaway for you marketers out there, is to be authentic and real with your marketing. The more of a human being you are to the IT pros, the way better off your marketing will be. And back to Peter's point, make a friend with an IT pro. They're more apt to be your friend if you're just who you are. And so to get more of this, there's a couple things I'm going to give you with. Again, this is Unplugged Online. We have our roadshow that's starting here in just the next coming weeks. We're going to go to California here in March. So go to Spiceworks.com/unplugged, and that's where you can go and see where our tour stops are. So we'd love to come see you in person and have your questions answered by a panel of IT pros. And also, we've got, you got Scott, our whole client team here to help you build some great killer content. So visit us at spiceworks.com/marketing and look at our content resources there, and hopefully Scott can help you out with your next campaign. Finally, for a couple of our attendees today, we've got a gift for you, so make sure you watch for that follow-up email. 3 lucky winners will get a book from Miss Ann Handley, who is a content guru marketer herself. So she's actually signed these books, and so we're going to be handing out to 3 lucky winners, so make sure you watch your email. So again, thank you so much for being with us here today. We hope to see you at an Unplugged stop near you or just somewhere in the Spiceworks community. From all of us here at Spiceworks, have a great day, guys. I'm Todd Roca. See you next time.